by. We're going to talk it over. We might want you to cut a little bit more.
Okay. Check it out.
Will that little piece come off? Yes.
That first tie. Oh, this one right here? No, what happened was the beta cloth cut.
Oh.
And they released the one that was below it, and this one is.
I'm going to turn this off for a second.
Okay.
And Nick, Suni, we do have a request. We'd like you to make it to where we can access all of the connectors on a future EVA. So that beta cloth, if we need to cut one more lacing cord, let's do that now.
Okay. We'll give it a go.
Thanks.
Not a problem.
Coming off.
Okay.
Fantastic communication there between NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams as we continue live with our coverage of US EVA 91 as the two astronauts continue to work together on the alpha magnetic spectrometer. And we mentioned before that this is all preparatory work, what can be done, and getting visuals on the job site of how future upgrades and future EVAs could handle. And that was the communications you heard with Nick Hague describing his body positioning and taking notes, as well as Suni Williams describing his position, again, for future astronaut and future EVA missions, and also the position of the beta cloth and the patch panel they recently just gained access to, and gaining visuals on that part of the alpha magnetic spectrometer as well. Approaching in about 30 seconds the 4-hour mark of today's EVA, as all tasks so far have been progressing along swimmingly for both Nick Hague and Suni Williams, including the removal and replacement of a rate gyro assembly that allows rotational rate data of the International Space Station to be collected and to better calculate the overall orientation. The removal and replacement of a planar reflector on the International Docking Adapter, the Zenith port of the Harmony module. That's the port that faces space and is currently occupied by a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft for Crew 9. And that is a part of the communications for visiting vehicles. And then the patches for the damaged NICER experiment. And that NICER patch executed by Nick Hague worked well, and that is a part of the X-ray telescope that measures various X-ray phenomena, neutron stars, black holes, and the like. And that was receiving unwanted sunlight and unwanted X-rays from said sunlight, and that patching has since been complete. So now, after moving a C2V2 cable to gain greater access to the alpha magnetic spectrometer, that is what Suni Williams and Nick Hague are doing now, continuing to survey the work site for potential future upgrades and informing the team here on the ground at the International Space Station Flight Control Room of what those upgrades could look like.
I think
Down there that needs to move?
there's not much else I can cut without this whole thing coming apart.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, like that. That's perfect.
Only one that might be problematic is that corner.
It's red.
It is. Jess, are you seeing all this on Hecka?
Yeah, we're seeing it too, Nick, and the team's saying they'd like to cut that corner if possible. That said, do you think that's going to liberate that piece of beta cloth too much?
If we get this one here, I could cut this, but then that gets rid of the kind of the dome aspect of it, so make it hard to put back over.
Cut that one right there. What happens there? Still there?
Then I think it folds back even further. If I can get to this one right there.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one that's right next to you, on that hand, yeah.
Yeah.
And for both of you guys, you can cut that exactly what you're talking about. And then as far as it going back over the patch panel, that's just a nice to have. So if we don't get it, it's no big deal.
Okay. You see it from your angle if I put it on there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh.
No, not that one. Low, low, right there, right there. Yep. Connected to that square one, but and it's right between those two.
Tell me when I'm on it.
You're on it,
It's out.
but it's down
Here,
there.
take the tool. I'll see if I can reach the pod.
Get right there. Nicely done.
And Nick, for your assay, we took your Hecka down for about 5 minutes just for thermal constraints.
Okay. And now you have access to everything. Easy.
Okay, awesome. Well, we would like to get your Hecka back before we actually start the fit checks, but I have a couple words for you. And I know you got to do a tool swap back to the bag before we do that.
Okay.
And for both of you, when you can, I'll take a glove and hap check.
No changes to the gloves. Dry hat.
No changes to my gloves either in the dry hat.
Cappy, gloves, and hat.
Go back in.
This one.
That tool.
Oh, look at the moon out there.
That.
A nice view of the moon right there.
Look.
Yeah, on the other side of the kulak bag for you.
Yeah, there you are. There you are. The moon. Pictures. Camera.
And I Velcro down your cover.
That.
Your cover. Oh, no, you witched it well. Nice.
Two.
Okay. Yeah.
This Velcro is old.
I know. I was fighting it earlier.
And Sunny, while you have the camera out, we would love some pictures of Nick's body position in the truss.
Ryan, what we get?
My little hole here. I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
Wonderful to hear the ongoing communications between NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Suni Williams as they continue their work on the alpha magnetic spectrometer and evaluating the work site for future upgrades on future EVAs that'll allow for additional radiators for heat rejection, as well as trackers to significantly increase the data acceptance of the alpha magnetic spectrometer. But we take a look inside now of the International Space Station Flight Control Room in Houston, Texas at Mission Control Center. And there you see from the bottom of your screen, working your way up, that is Flight Director Elias Mirmo in support of the EVA Flight Director today, And that is Nicole McElroy and her Vista flight team. Jessica Whitner, a NASA astronaut. She is the spacewalk communicator for today's flight, and you are hearing her voice in relay of all the communications to Nick Hague and Suni Williams. And JAXA astronaut Aki Hoshide is the Capcom for today, relaying communications to the team that is still inside of the International Space Station. We are 4 hours and 8 minutes into today's EVA. That has so far gone right to schedule. In fact, so much so they are a little ahead of schedule. That includes multiple tasks that have been completed both together for Hague and Williams, as well as individual tasks as well.
I'm just right there.
You're right there.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think can you feel them like if it's just right there?
Yeah.
Right there. There's a bigger hole to his.
He opens up if I go a little bit more. Yeah.
You could slide into that place where you can just feel those connectors.
Yeah.
Okay, copy those words. We are tracking now, and Suni, just for your sake, we just lost your HECA as well.
Lost it?
To correct, we turned it off for thermal constraints from the ground, and it'll be back up shortly. Nothing for you to do.
Okay. Okay.
So while we're waiting for the HECAs to come back online, I'll read you a caution and where we're going with the fit checks. So for the caution, we want to avoid torque and twisting motions on the harness boot and sideways force on the connectors.
Okay.
And then as far as the fit checks go, I know you guys will have cuff checklist page 8 available to you. I will read out column and row that we're going after, as well as the connector number, since you might be able to see it as well. And then once we attempt the call it install, I'll just ask you a series of questions. One, could you actually reach the full install position with the stinger in contact with the panel surface? Then we'll report the band number with the highest cable in contact with the tool. And then without actually rotating, I just want you to assess whether or not you would be able to rotate the tool counterclockwise about 30 degrees.
Okay.
All right, Nick, we have your HECA back. So when you're ready, we can start the fit check.
Okay, ready.
All right, first and foremost, we're going after column 1, row 2, and it's connector number 7.
I'm on row 2, connector 7. I can see the label.
Copy.
Okay, so this is down.
Trying to get my head in here to see a little bit.
I can turn.
That's plenty of room to turn.
I can rotate it this way. I see a little bit better.
Copy, Nick. So that kind of answers 2 of the questions. We were able to achieve full install, and to confirm, you could rotate it counterclockwise 30 degrees.
Stay firm. Just put the handle toward the outboard of the patch panel, and you avoid all the clearance issues.
Copy. And then maybe from Suni's position, if she has a better vantage point, if you could report the band number of the highest cable in contact with the tool.
Right, this one, right?
This one right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 9.
Yeah, I call it a 9. It's at the highest red band, but it's below the handle.
You can avoid it, though.
Yep. You know, I think you could probably rotate this 360 degrees and avoid all of the cables that run to this side of the patch panel. The other side of the patch panel, stick it up maybe an inches higher. All those cables.
Okay, copy, Nick. We're good with that. We have about a minute and a half until a quick handover. I think we can knock out the next one. It's going to be column 2, row 1, and connector number 11, if you can see the number.
Connector number 11, trying to see the label. I see the label. I'm down on it.
If you use that outward spot, you could rotate, right?
Yeah, I can rotate this 170 degrees counterclockwise.
I can't see what band it is close to. Okay.
It's the same one, I think.
Yeah.
As you rotate around. Probably a height of 9.
Okay, copy. Height of 9.
That one.
That answers that connector's questions. Any other foreseen challenges mating that one?
Nope. It's a little bit of a reach compared to the other one just because it's further away. But it's not difficult.
Okay, copy. We got 15 minutes to hand over, so I'll be with you again shortly. But we're good with that connector.
Okay.
I mean 15 seconds, my bad.
What is it?
I just thought you
An expected transfer of communications currently ongoing, as you see live views and some smiles here inside of Mission Control Center and the International Space Station Flight Control Room as Jessica Whitner, the one in the middle of your screen there, relaying information up to Suni Williams and Nick Hague, the 2 NASA astronauts participating in today's spacewalk. Just over 4 hours and 15 minutes into US EVA number 91 as the two, both Hague and Williams, continuing to showcase teamwork in working on the job site of the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer and reviewing the patch panels for future upgrades and future EVAs.
it's installed on the. It's column 6, row 5 or 4. On B, I can't read the label fully. Second from the bottom.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's correct. It's
Four.
Echo 1, Bravo 1, but row or column 6, row 4 is correct.
Okay. And so it's all the way down. That's no problem. You've got about the cables that go. The cables on this side actually go higher than the handle. They're all biased to one side of this, so you can rotate this 180 degrees counterclockwise. Start with the handle toward me, and yeah, I think that it gets you all your info.
Last question, is the reach okay?
Yep, the reach is okay on this one.
Okay, copy. We'll have a go to continue. We'll go to the next connector. We'll be back in column 1, row 3, and it's number 4, if you can see the label.
Reposition a little bit.
All right. Sort of the same situation.
Yep.
Because you're on that edge.
I am flush with the panel, so tools fully installed. The highest cable goes to kind of the last red line. I have probably all the cables on this side of the patch panel are below the handle, so I could rotate 270 degrees counterclockwise. No problem.
Okay, copy. That's all we needed for that one. So we'll move on to column 3, row 2, and it's going to be number 9.
9.
So it's in the middle.
This one will be a little more sporty. We go like this.
And happy to take any extra words here on, we know it's going to be a little bit of a tricky one to get in between those cables.
Okay, so now I'm down on it. It's a little bit of a blind access. I can see the stinger touching the base, but I wouldn't be able to fully see the connector.
I can see it from this
Can
side.
you see it from there?
Yeah, I can see you're on it. Around, I can see the two ends where the little gap is.
Yeah.
From this view, so this one you'd want somebody to look at it.
Okay.
And also, your initial position was not orthogonal. It was a little tilted, but now you've got it that more orthogonal, which is good.
Yep. And then there's the cables on the zenith side of the patch panel are all above the handle. So but everything on the nadir side is below the handle. Those highest ones go to the last red stripe. You could rotate counterclockwise 180 degrees.
Okay, copy all, Nick. The next connector after this one is going to be one row down in the same column. So column 3, row 3, connector number 6. Might be a little bit more tricky than that one.
Again, I can see when you get all the way down on it. That's cool. The gap is.
So that feels perpendicular.
Yep, that looks orthogonal. Yep.
Okay. A little more blind on my side for this location, but I think all the same data that goes up to the last red stripe, I could do 180 degrees counterclockwise, and it's fully installed.
Okay, copy all. 3 more to go. The next connector will be on the other panel itself, column 4, row 2.
Or row 2. Row TB.
That's correct.
One's a little more tricky.
Yeah.
Put the handle in just the right location.
It's good it's still outside. Hard for you to see, I bet.
It's really hard to see.
And I could move around and I could get like half of it.
Yeah,
I can't see the whole thing.
I can see the stinger touching the bottom.
Yeah,
I can see half of the connector head.
same here.
I can tell that I'm on it.
Yeah.
It's 180 degrees of rotation counterclockwise. There's at least 4 or 5 cables on the zenith side of the patch panel that are higher than the handle of the tool by about an inch or a half inch, I think.
They're almost an inch.
Yeah. You need an inch more clearance to be able to go all the way around.
Yeah, if you want a
Yep.
taller tool.
Yep. I think the real one is a little bit longer. Hey, got everything you need there, Jeff?
Okay, we copy all. We're tracking down here. So next connector is going to be column 4, row 4.
That isn't it?
That one, yep. I can see both sides of it. That you. It's hard to get it.
I can't go straight in because of the cables. You could go in sideways a little and then down.
Yeah.
But you can see I'm having to nudge some of these cables out of the way just to get this perpendicular to the connector.
Okay,
I can
copy,
see both
Nick.
sides from here, but it looks.
I don't know how much you want to move those cables. Probably it looks like maybe 15 degrees off of vertical without moving any of the cables. So I'd have to bend them about that much. You could still rotate at 180 degrees because you can rotate away from those cables.
Okay, copy, understood. It seems like we can rotate just fine as long as we set the handle in the right position, but otherwise it's a little bit tricky to get perpendicular here. All right, with that one, the last connector we want to check today is column 4, row 5. And if you can see the label, it's Echo 1 Alpha 0.
One right below that last one.
Yeah, this one's easier.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, I think. Full bundle is pushing me off to the side. So again, I have to put stress on all those cables. I'm probably 20 degrees off vertical. Be able to get it straight, I'd have to bend all those cables. You could rotate 180 degrees. The handle's in the right location, but those cables are an inch above the handle, and they're interfering with me being able to put this down vertically.
Okay, copy all, Nick. And you can pull that tool off that connector, and we're just going to have you stand by while the team discusses it here.
Okay. Yeah.
You are tuned in live on NASA Plus to the ongoing progression of U.S. EVA number 91, featuring NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague as they continue to progress through their checklists. We are now 4 hours and 26 minutes into today's EVA that has seen them replace the rate gyro assembly number 2, remove and replace a planar reflector for communications for visiting vehicles outside the zenith port of the Harmony module, the space-facing port. Also installing patches for the damaged NICER experiment, the X-ray telescope that was allowing unwanted sunlight into its sensitive instrumentations inside. So those patches have since been complete, and now both Williams and Hague working together to take a look at the alpha magnetic spectrometer and the work site, taking diligent notes of body positionings, tool configurations, and more surrounding a patch panel for future upgrades on future EVAs. They continue to work as diligent and have been working as a team all throughout the day, or in teamwork all throughout the day. For Nick Hague, his 4th spacewalk. For Suni Williams, this is her 8th spacewalk in support of International Space Station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades.
I'll get from this angle.
Angle.
I have a third arm.
What do you want to do?
Hold down that beta cloth. Let's do the
Big one?
yeah. Well, that's good. Not real stable when I hold it like that. Yes. Like that. Here's my perspective. That's what you can.
I'm just trying to get some overall.
Yeah, I was trying to pull the true lock bag out of the way.
Back in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Where's my helmet relative to the radiator?
So you're probably about 6 inches back, and you're like half of your helmet is above. You know what I mean? You're not totally underneath it.
Okay, got it.
So
I'm
if you
a
go
little
lower,
bit back, and I've got 6 inches to go up
yeah,
before I have to hit it. Okay.
and it's just the edge.
That's the part they don't want to touch. The stuff underneath
Yeah.
is incidental. Okay.
To turn this off. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Maybe the button push.
Hey, did you grow to love that RT?
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. Kind of keeps me stable.
Yeah.
I'm wedged in here, so I'm not sure how critical the stability is. This is more effective. Defector to the handrail right in front of you.
Yeah.
They're drawing you in because you end up reacting away from it, and so that counteracts it.
That's good. Do you have a wire tie to put around the whole thing? If you use a big one?
Yeah.
Free. Just one of ours?
Yeah, it's just one of ours. We'll go around the cable bundle here.
Yep.
Try to hold it down. Camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get some pictures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go.
your head piece in there.
Yeah. A little in the motion. So, just the page.
Oh, yeah. So close to you.
Okay, Nick, Sunny, I got some big picture words for you, and then we're going to start cleaning up on AMS.
Ready for the words.
All right, so we're showing ourselves right now an hour ahead on timeline, which is awesome. We are looking now at after we clean up the APFR here, we may have a couple photo opportunities, specifically one for the MMOD strike, Nick, that you saw on AMS during your ingress. We would like to get some photo documentation of that. And then we may have a couple other locations, teams working that now. Once we get you cleaned up at AMS and start heading inboard, we're looking at trying to get you guys both out to that troublesome APFR that we had earlier, and maybe with both crew out there can get that collar unstuck. But waiting on steps for that. How copy?
Copy all.
That's interesting.
I don't like that. Camera's still functional, but that is not captive, right?
I don't think so. I think just the cover is captive. You want me to put that in my trash bag?
Potentially. I'm not, no, there's a tether through it.
Okay.
Just want to confirm the eyepiece that we put onto the camera, probably see it in my HECA, it came off. Is this captive?
Affirm, Nick. It is captive to the MLI.
Okay. I'm not going to worry about it then. Captive to the MLI.
It must have a little tether point on it that connects to the
Yeah, I see the little tether point, and then the MLI's got
captive to the other one.
Yeah, okay. That still works. Won't be able to tell what I'm shooting, but it still works.
Okay, so should we start putting tools away inside the crew lock bag? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, you ready for us to clean up crew lock bag?
Okay, sorry, Nick. We were talking about your camera there. You can actually try to reinstall it. It sounds like it's like a friction fit. If you can actually just like get it back on that location, but best effort there with that. Oh, sorry, correction. It is a threaded fitting. So best effort there if you can get it. If not, we'll probably just leave it. And then Sunny, for you, we can start putting the tools back in the crew lock bag.
It worked.
And those threads are small, so I'm just going to let it hang off its tether. You can still aim and point the camera.
Okay, Nick, and I'm being told if we can't get that piece back on, we just want you to actually stow it in the crew lock bag. And correction, that's going to be the entire camera.
Our camera. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Sunny, while you're working the crew lock bag ops, when it makes sense, we'll take an inventory of that crew lock bag as well.
Okay, I see 3 thermal blankets. I see the small locking electrical connector tool. See the AMS simulator tool. Oh shoot, what are these things called? The dino cutters? That other thing.
The big Lancer.
The Lancer? Yeah, that's it. Lancer. The GoPro. Sorry. On that other side.
Great communications between the teams on the ground here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room up to NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague as they continue to progress along their EVA today, US EVA number 91, in which they are approaching 4 hours and 39 minutes into this EVA. You heard spacewalk communicator Jessica Whitner, NASA astronaut, relay up to the crew that they are about an hour ahead of schedule. So they have additional tasks that are available for the astronauts to perform, one being additional photography and work around the alpha magnetic spectrometer, which is the task they are currently working on at the moment, in which they were looking at patch panels and beta claws, removing ties, and essentially looking over the job site and taking inventory of what can be done for future upgrades of the alpha magnetic spectrometer. But the team also relayed information about taking additional photography of MMOD, or a micrometeoroid debris strike, that has no effect on the performance of the alpha magnetic spectrometer or any areas of the International Space Station, but they had noted that in the journey of the astronauts today, crossing paths over the International Space Station, it would like additional photography, and then also for them to both address the APFR, or the articulating portable foot restraint, that was addressed earlier today by NASA astronaut Suni Williams, as they had a couple of pieces on that APFR, again, the articulating portable foot restraint, that were stuck and unusable at the time before moving on to future tasks. So again, approaching 4 hours and just over 40 minutes now of today's EVA with NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague, as they wrap up and start to add on or wrap up their tasks at the alpha magnetic spectrometer and move on to potentially additional tasks assigned by the teams here inside Mission Control.
Okay, so that's going to go inside the bag. Pretty stable, so.
And while you guys both are working bag ops, we still would like photos of that MMOD strike, Nick, that you saw earlier on AMS. And I know we're about to put your camera in that bag. So either choices are to pull the GoPro out and then carry that with you, or transfer Suni's camera to yourself.
Copy, Jeff. The location of that MMOD strike is directly across from the handrail 3013. And I have taken photos of it for you already.
Okay, great. Problem solved. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to release this one now. That's the packing. Ooh, it's a packing issue now. Okay, GoPro to the other side. Let's flip that red real quick. There we go. Okay, lid toward me.
There's straws in there.
No joke. An extra handle now, too.
All right.
Buttoned up.
Let me grab that one up.
Let me unhook. You want me to unhook this one right here? It'll be on that large small?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And Nick, before we leave your work site, we want you to attempt to close that beta cloth and see if you can secure it with a short wire tie.
Yep.
Yep. Take one off my BRT.
And I'm taking this crew lock badge, is that right?
Yep, you've got the crew lock badge.
Cleared on my SC, cleared.
And Jess, you want me to use a short or a long?
Whichever one works, Nick. We have listed here a short, but if that doesn't work, you can use one of the longs.
Idea is just go around the cable bundle itself. Correct?
Yeah, A-firm. We're showing a short wire tie around the cable bundle.
I was thinking if I put a long here, then I could, after I do the twists around the cable bundle, then I could use those long arms of the wire ties to kind of go around it and hold it in place. And it might be beneficial when you come back to work on these connectors. You could use that long wire tie to hold back the beta cloth.
Go ahead and string it around, let me know.
Okay, we copy Nick about the long wire tie being able to maybe hold back the beta cloth, and you have a go to do that if you would like.
Work.
Twist around there.
Let's see what I can do there. Right. I'll twist it up. Let's go fish this back through. If I hold this down like this.
So do you want to fish it through underneath?
Yeah, if we go underneath,
But I
I'll
don't
try to pinch down.
think about that. Just going to do the same thing it just did, though.
Pull out. You hold on to this corner. Yeah, I can grab that end. If you grab the corner and pull it through the little,
That hole.
yeah,
All right.
and I'll pull it tight.
Not that much holding up there, though.
Uh,
Can we do something over here?
And Nick and Sunny, that looks good to us. It's really best effort with the beta cloth.
Okay. Holding it there. Show you guys what it looks like in the Hague.
Yeah, we see it in the Hague. That is all good. We're about 1 minute to handover, and if we can get glove and hap checks from both of you.
Okay.
Gloves, same. Take a dry.
That's dry, gloves, or no change.
Copy, gloves and hap for both of you. We're going to hold here for 30 seconds until after this handover for your egress.
Okay. Sonny, you're just going to watch me the same way?
Yep, exactly.
Talk me out.
Yep.
You are following along live with our coverage on NASA Plus of US EVA number 91, featuring NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams. And there you are seeing the teams here on the ground at Mission Control Center, Houston, and the International Space Station Flight Control Room, featuring Flight Director and EVA Spacewalk Flight Director Nicole McElroy in the middle of your screen there, talking with Spacewalk Communicator and NASA astronaut Jessica Whitner, who is relaying communications up to both Hague and Williams as they have started to wind down their procedures on the alpha magnetic spectrometer. And that is a part of one of a handful of tasks that those two have completed so far today, so much so that they had reported earlier that they're nearly an hour ahead of schedule, but there are additional tasks that they can assign both Hague and Williams to participate in before the closure of today's EVA. Of those tasks, they have removed and replaced a rate gyro assembly, the number 2 unit. That was the priority task number 1 that they started with. They also removed and replaced a planar reflector used for communications for visiting vehicles that were in transit to the International Space Station for docking and relaying rate of closure communications. Also patches for the damaged NICER experiment, the Neutron Star Interior Composition Explorer, and of course now working together and patching up their workspace of the alpha magnetic spectrometer, preparatory tasks for future EVAs to upgrade the AMS or alpha magnetic spectrometer.
You're going to end up picking up the NICER caddy and putting it on your swing arm. And then Sunny is going to take the crew lock bag back on her BRT. And then you'll both pick up your green hooks. And then what we're looking for you to do is actually head out to the starboard CETA cart together. Sunny is going to lead, and then we'll work some APFR troubleshooting there before we head back to the airlock.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to pick up my BRT.
Yep, Nick, when you're ready, you can work with Sunny to egress the AMS worksite.
I think this is the worst part of your head getting in here is when you're way in trying to do the BRT.
Yeah.
Other than that, the rest of it is pretty clear. Right now, your back ear this is probably 6 inches from top of that AMS area.
Yeah. It's a tight fit on that BRT around that handrail. Being able to get your fingers on the paddles, there's not a lot of access.
And you just heard their communication from Spacewalk communicator Jessica Whitner relaying up the next steps for this EVA, USA EVA 91, as they complete their tasks at the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer. And now they will together return to the airlock to drop off some tools and equipment before together making their way to the APFR, the Articulating Portable Foot Restraint that had a couple components stuck earlier today at the beginning of the EVA, but did not play a role or a factor in the removal and replacement of the rate gyro assembly. So this will be a get-ahead task for the two crew members that are participating now, what is going to be 4 minutes and 54 seconds into the EVA, the fourth in the career of NASA astronaut Nick Hague and the eighth for Suni Williams. They have just entered an orbital nighttime period as the International Space Station currently flying over Europe and the southern border of Poland.
I guess I'm going to start to move as well.
Yep, I'll meet you on phase 1.
Okay, copy, Suni, and we need to see you out of the truss, Nick. When you can and you're in a good spot, you can check your safer handles are down. And then, Suni, once you meet up with Nick on phase 1, we want you to just do an inspection of tabs and BRT tab up.
Okay. Will do. Right.
Okay.
Get up my green hook now. Green hook is connected to the red reel. I'm just looking at your tab.
You see it?
Right tabs up. Left tabs are up. Looking good.
Okay.
Saber handles are down.
Yep.
Green light's on.
All right. I'm gonna get configured here. I've got to get this transferred over onto my swing arm and pick up my green hook, but you're leading over that way.
Okay.
So if you want to start that way,
Okay.
I'll catch up to you.
And Nick, Suni, we are tracking along and just want to make sure, Suni, that you've picked up your green hook on 3208.
Honey has her green hook and crew lock bag, and I'm just starting to translate ports.
Copy all?
You heard me. I said that his tabs are up.
Yeah, affirm. We heard tabs are up and safer handles are down.
I'm at the seat of spur.
Copy, Sunny. And we see you both go into the starboard seat of cart back where that troublesome APFR was. And for SA, we're going to leave that crew lock bag number 1 is still down.